Hello YouTube modelers, welcome back to my channel. I'd like to thank all my subscribers and viewers. So here is the status on the 62 Catalina AMT. Everything's painted in detail, so it just needs to be slapped together. But just want to show you everything before everything gets put together so that sometimes you can't see it. So here are the tires, wheels. Haven't decided whether I want to put the hubs on or not. The chassis. This is the interior and the floor pans. The seat with the seat belts. The door panels. Radiator hose. Engine, which is fully wired. Lights are in. Hinges that will not be used. Haven't decided whether I want to use the hubcaps or not. The dash. There are no decals provided, so you'll have to dry brush it. The exhaust system. So you're going to have to detail it with painting because there's no decals supplied to the gauges. If you want to paint it factory upholstery, you're going to have 3 shades of the interior color: light, medium, and dark. So there's quite a bit of masking and painting. What I like about the engine is not only do we supply fuel lines, which is very realistic looking, but the generator actually has a generator bracket that attaches to the engine block. So it's not a suspended generator alternator in midair, which many kits do have. So I like that they have what looks like functional excuse me, generator bracket. Battery top, and body. Trimmed out everything. The only thing is this side chrome molding is recessed, so you really have to mask off the sides in order to make that straight. If it was a monogram Revell, they would have provided the side molding as a separate chrome piece like they did on the 59 Impala. That way it would save you some work on some masking and some headaches and painting that recessed side molding. Alright, so I'll be back when the sub-assemblies are done. Here is the body with the front and rear bumper and the exhaust. The exhaust has to be put in when I mate the floor pan with the chassis, because exhaust goes in the floor pan and one of the exhaust ends attaches to the engine. So when I mate them, the exhaust will go on. So here are all the pieces that still have to be assembled, and the decals, of course. Might have to polish the body one more time because when I was handling it, I might have got some smudges on it. So we're going to mate everything together. Alright, so sub-assemblies are done. Here is the chassis frame with the engine mounted. This long strand is for the coil. Here is the coil over here. I cut it from the original distributor cap, and this is the aftermarket one. When I attach this to the firewall, I'll attach the cable when I mate this onto the chassis. I ended up using the original box slicks because the tires I was going to use, the aspect ratio was just not correct. It just looked smaller than these tall, high profile tires. So I ended up going with the slicks. It just looked a little more proportioned. Here's the interior. Everything is completed. Hopefully the battery is in the correct position, or else I'm going to have trouble mounting it. Hopefully it won't interfere with the engine. So let me pause the video. And oh, these are the hubcaps. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to use them or not. Don't know if they're going to look right or not, so I'll make that decision later. Let me put the body on. Alright, so the interior is mated to the chassis with the engine. So now it's one piece. Put the coil in. It's wired with the distributor. Everything fits or nestles in perfectly. Since it was a little bit tricky because I had to do everything all at once. The exhaust tucks in under, I guess, between the floor pan and the chassis, forward of the engine, forward toward the engine, but then this goes above the frame. So I had to do it all at once because if you notice, I actually did the chassis already. Because this step, I think you're supposed to do the exhaust and then put the rear axle, but I put the rear axle on already and spray painted all at once. But as long as you do everything all at once, it should be good. So everything fits pretty well. Before I put the body on, just want to show you what do you call it? The interior roof. It's got the dome light and the center rear view mirror. Alright guys, so here is the final reveal, but before I go ahead, I just want to give a big shout out and thanks to Rick Zeng, because I bought this kit as an open box and it was missing like 15% of the parts, and Rick was able to send me the missing parts, so I was able to complete this, or else it would be a kit 3/4 complete. So here is the final kit. I decided to leave the dog dish hubcaps off of it. I don't know whether, I guess a steely look. I don't know. Hubs or no hubs. Anyway, I also did not use these slicks, and I did not use these front skinnies. I instead used similar setup, skinny fronts and fat rears, but I took it from my 64 Impala AMT kit. The fat rears are the custom wheels and the skinny fronts are the stocks. So similar setup, but just the profile is a lower profile tire. But overall it was a pretty great kit. It's one of the better ones from AMT ERTL. It is a recent design because it reminds me of the 67 Impala Super Sport or even the Supernatural 4-door. The reason why I say that is because there are many pieces where AMT used to give you one. So for example, the frame and the floor pan and the interior, it's not a tub. The frame is separate from the floor pans, so it enables you to highly detail it. Not too many decals though, it's just the front and rear license plates. The pros is I like that they have the fuel lines. They include fuel lines in this kit, which I think this is the one and only kit I know of that has fuel lines from AMT. So that's pretty great. And also the parts, it's not just a pin and a hole. Some of them are shaped like the letter C, so they interlock, so there's no way you can switch it around. I did wire it, but it's pretty cool that they have the fuel lines and of course the generator bracket. So it's not like many kits where the alternator or the generator is kind of hanging in midair. So this one actually has a bracket, so it looks more realistic. It does have upper and lower radiator hoses. I know the green top batteries are interstate, but yellow tops, I think I'm used to buying from AutoZone. I think the Duralast batteries have, some of them have yellow tops, so that's why I painted it yellow top instead of a black one. But it's pretty detailed. It's got the battery tray hold down, battery clamps, and of course the filler caps. So pretty happy about that. The front nose is all chrome, so to be accurate, you do have to color in where the paint is. So if you want it to be realistic looking, just do your research and color that in. Interior, if you want a factory, you're going to have to do it in those 3 stripes. Light, medium, and dark. It does have that transparent, half of the steering wheel is transparent. No decals for the dash, so you're going to have to dry brush it. And this trim is recessed, so you're going to have to mask it before filling it in, which I use a Molotow pen. And of course the Pontiac in the back, you have to carefully highlight that it's not a decal. And that's pretty much it. But overall, highly recommend this kit. It is highly detailed. I also wish that it gave you some mirrors on the outside. Oh, one other thing. So the reason why I had to use these tires also was because it was a rolling chassis, and then when I put the body on, for some reason it rubbed on the inside fender. So you guys might have better luck fitting it in, but I want the wheels to roll. I know some of you don't and you like to glue it so it doesn't move, but for me, if they give me that feature, I want to have the feature work. So I did have to use skinnier tires so that they roll, which they do now. And that's pretty much it. Aftermarket was the wiring and of course the seat belts. That's pretty much it, but highly detailed. Pretty realistic looking. As far as the color goes, I don't know whether it was offered in that year. I know some people, they researched the colors that were offered and they tried to duplicate the color. Me, I just chose something that kind of looks period correct. It looks kind of old, the paint, but I don't know whether it was offered in that year. But I guess it was flat. It might look like an army staff car. But anyway, this is the perfect vehicle type that I like to build. Sleepers that look unassuming and plain looking and then has a monster engine. So hope you guys enjoy it. As usual, I'll have stills at the end. Thanks for watching.